regular season losses against the Saints with a 30-20 win last night. 3 Drew Brees interceptions and a Jared Cook fumble kept giving the Bucs favorable field position all night. Brady finished with 199 yards through the air and 3 total touchdowns in the win. Shannon, what is the biggest reason the Bucs pulled off the upset here?
Their defense was sensational. If you look at the first two games, Skip, I think the first game they had 2 turnovers. The Bucs did. The game that they got blown out on a Sunday night, Skip, they had 3 turnovers. And the difference was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took care of the football and the New Orleans Saints did not. But the Bucs defense was sensational. Skip, when the game seemingly could have got out of hand because the first punt return, the guy runs it back that holds them to a field goal. They get another punt return for a touchdown, but it gets a block in the back. But when they got down in the red zone, Tampa's defense seemed to clamp down. The one thing...
And by the way, they only gave up 1 big touchdown,
right,
which was a trick play touchdown.
A trick play.
Ahead. Yeah.
Skip, the one thing I can say about Tom Brady, that he probably does better than any quarterback that's ever played. Skip, he understands the situation. He says this game is not about 300, 400 yards passing. This game is who can avoid the turnover, who can avoid the costly mistake. And he played it as such. Skip, if you look at this, Mike Evans had 1 catch. AB had 1 catch. Gronk had 1 catch. Leonard Fournette led the team with 5 catches. So instead of putting the ball down the field and putting it in harm's way, let me take these checkdowns. Let me take these easy because turnovers will make you pay double. Skip, he started at the 41-yard line. That's the 3rd best starting field position of his playoff career. The 3 touchdowns he got, he went 40 yards, and 20 yards. Skip, it's going to be hard to beat that team. It's going to be hard to beat any team if you turn it over 4 times in the playoffs and you give them that kind of starting position. Devin White was sensational. I'm not surprised that he played as well as he did because he went home. He's a Louisiana kid, Skip. He played at Baton Rouge at LSU.
So did Leonard Fournette, and he was inspired.
He ran hard,
yep,
but Devin White was sensational.
He was.
11 tackles, 10 solo, tackle for a loss, fumble recovery, a pick.
We've talked about him all year. He's a superstar.
He's sudden.
Yep.
And you look at a man his size, Skip, you don't expect him to be that sudden, but he is sudden. He's impactful. Skip, look, it's kind of like a situation, Skip, you know you should get you a new car. You know it. And you say, I'm going to drive this one till the wheels fall off. And you just hope you don't have someplace important that you got to be when you use this car one last time.
Yep.
Well, Drew, the wheels fell off. And it fell off at the most inopportune of times. Skip, it kind of reminds you of Peyton Manning. He kind of ran out of gas, but the difference was while Peyton was turning the ball in the Super Bowl, so was Cam. But Cam's touchdowns were leading to points. The Broncos' defense was sensational. They didn't give up the points. And so when you look at it, it's like it was painful, Skip. I'm watching Drew throwing the ball, and I would have to go back and look at the tape, but looking at it from the TV copy, it looked like they played Drew exclusively, what we call cover 5, which is 22-man, Skip. 2 deep safeties, hard underneath. We're going to take away the middle of the field. We're going to force you to throw the ball outside the numbers. And you see, they didn't give up anything down the numbers, and when Drew tried to throw the ball outside, what happened, Skip? All of his interceptions came when he tried to throw the ball outside. Because
except for the one to Camara, which was up the seam, but it was just late.
Right.
I don't know, they were on the wrong page. Go ahead.
But even if Camara was looking, that was going to get, he was going to get blown up or he was going to get picked.
Yeah.
So, and when you look at it like that, it's like, we do not believe Drew can threaten us, can hurt us throwing the ball outside the numbers. We want to push him outside the numbers.
Yeah.
But the play of the game, Skip, the Saints are up 7. They got the ball, they're driving. Jared Cook, he did it again. Skip.
It's 3rd and 2, and they converted the 3rd. He's running.
Just like they did.
Yep.
Skip, this is what I don't understand. And I went back and I looked at it, and I'm saying, why is a guy that's 6'6", 260 pounds, can run like he can? Why has he been on 5 teams? Skip, it's his football.
Remember, he caught the Aaron Rodgers pass against Dak and Zeke in their rookie year at Jerry World in the playoff game.
It dawned on me, Skip. I'm not saying he's not intelligent because I believe he is intelligent, but his football IQ.
Yeah.
Skip, you beat the guy the guy that you beat is on your right. If you watch him running, Skip, he's looking to his left. There's not where the danger is coming from. It's coming from your back. Skip, you could see this coming. I saw this guy say he about to punch this ball out, and dude don't even know he's there. How he doesn't know he's there after he just beat said guy, and he's on his right, but he's looking left. Boom. Give Tampa.
That little man is a rookie out of Minnesota that they stole in the second round. And what I love the most about him is that his daddy played at the highest level in this league, and it's like father, like son. And that was the play of the game. That saved the game. Of the 4 Drew Brees turnovers, that wasn't on Drew Brees. That was a Jared Cook
Because
turnover.
it looked like, Skip, they were up 7 at that point. It looks like they're about to go at bare minimum get 3 and be up 10.
But if they went up 27-13, I'm just not sure Tom Brady can come back.
But give Tom Brady credit for realizing and understanding this is not a 400-yard day. This is not even a 300-yard day. This is a protect the football day and let our defense see. Don't put our defense in harm's way. Let me do what I need to do, and let's get out of here with a victory. He did what he needed to do, but the Bucs defense, that might have been their best game of the year, and they needed it at that time.
Okay, I'm going to say it one more time. There is one man in sports I do not bet against when the money is pushed to the middle of the table, and it's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. He was up against his greatest challenge yesterday. That's his nemesis. That's his worst nightmare. That's his matchup nightmare, because those guys can get after him and after all of his receivers. And I thought the Saints defense played extremely well yesterday.
They didn't pressure him like they did the first 2 games.
They didn't get after him. And your man Trey Hendrickson played, but he was not the same.
Nope.
And yet Tom Brady's offensive line rose and shone in ways that it didn't in the first 2 games against a team that had owned Tom Brady and company, owned them at New Orleans on opening day, and then November the 8th at what I call Tampa Bay. It was the all-time beatdown. It was Tom Brady's worst game, I thought, by far, of his career. He had a QBR of 6 in that game at home. They got dominated so bad that the time of possession was Drew Brees 40 minutes to Tom Brady 20 minutes. And he threw a frustrated late interception in which I thought he just sort of gave up and threw it up for grabs back across the field to Rob Gronkowski, and it got picked off by Malcolm Jenkins, who also played very well yesterday. Very well. He was all over the field.
Yes.
So Tom Brady went into New Orleans for a second time this year, and a third time against that team that owned him, and against a Drew Brees who has owned him. Drew was 5-2 against Tom Brady career. And what you saw on display was something that I hope the kids out there can comprehend and savor and embrace. Kids, you're going to get to tell your grandkids you got to see that guy play 3 years of age. So it's going to cross generations of, like, when you're growing up, I'm growing up, who did I get to see the end of? I got to see Mickey Mantle maybe at the end.
Right.
I got to see a little bit of Johnny Unitas at the end of him.
Right.
But they weren't quite the same.
Right.
That Willie Mays was on the downside. I had to watch him play for the New York Mets.
Right.
And then if I can go fast forward, I had to watch Peyton Manning play for your Broncos in a Super Bowl in which he was just hanging on for dear life along for the ride.
He was on fumes.
On fumes. And what you saw yesterday was the culmination of the GOAT getting pushed out the back door in New England and saying, okay, I choose, and we're all thinking, Chargers maybe? Where else? Anywhere but there? Wait. He just chose Tampa Bay, the Succaneers, the worst franchise and winning percentage in all of sports? You're kidding. Oh, well, but they do have 2 Pro Bowl receivers from last year.
And Brayton, O.J. Howard.
And they do. And they have Todd Bowles, and they have a lot of pieces on defense, even though they went 7-9 last year with Jameis as the quarterback.
But Skip, when we stepped back and we looked at it, of all the places that he could have potentially went, that was the best situation. Nobody has that collection of skill players. Maybe Kansas City, but Kansas City wasn't available.
I still thought the Chargers were intriguing. Just new stadium, stadium, and all that. The point is, it took him 1 year only, but he had to do it on the fly during a pandemic with no preseason, virtual OTAs. And he molded that team into the Patriot way on the fly. He taught that team how to win the biggest games. And they all, right on schedule, clicked, gelled, came together, and took off in the month of December. As Tom Landry always taught me when I was first in this business, you have to streak into the playoffs. If you're going to go places, you got to catch fire in December. They did, right on schedule. And you can't tell me that every player on that team doesn't look up to Brady. As Bruce Arians said last week, I tell these guys something and they don't even listen to me. Brady says the same thing to them. They're like, oh, okay, I got it. So he has become the co-head coach. And to your point, the defense has been hit and miss all year. I wasn't sure I could trust it. It's gotten torched too many times. But right on schedule in the biggest game against the biggest challenge, Drew Brees that had owned that defense twice this year, they rose and shone. They played easily their best defensive game of the year. This side of one we're going to talk about in a few minutes on this show against Aaron Rodgers at home back in October. But that was the epitome of Tom Brady instilling and installing the Patriot way in Tampa Bay. And you're right. He played careful football, no turnovers. They protected him the way they haven't protected him remotely against New Orleans.